I found out was awesome was cauliflower. So cauliflower is actually the broccoli's cousin. And so if you didn't know that, there's a handy tip. You could win a trivia night with that question. So the things I love about cauliflower is it's really high fibre, and high fibre is not just great for your bowel, but high fibre is really great for gut health as well. Another fantastic thing, it is very low in calories. So it's fantastic to aid in your weight loss if that's something that you're looking at doing. So today I'm going to present 3 recipes. So I'm going to start on one, move on to the second one, do a bit of prep, jump over to the other girls and come back to me at some stage. So I'll be doing cauliflower rice, which is such a great alternative to normal rice. And it's even something that my kids love. So I just always want to find something that the kids will enjoy. And this has been my test today as well with the buffalo bites. I'm super excited. I haven't tried this recipe before. The buffalo bites look delicious and I've heard that they are great. So we're going to give those a go. And then I'm also making one of my favourite soups, which is a cauliflower cheese soup. It's so beautiful. It's just so filling as well. Alrighty, so I'm going to get started first on the cauliflower rice. So your cauliflower rice gets steamed, but I'll show you just how quick and easy it is to get started. So first of all, I wanted to do a real quick flip around. Just going to see if I can, flip my screen. Just going to bring you over to show you from the home screen here to access my recipes, which have been saved into my machine. Because I've saved them on my Cookie Do app, when I've turned on Thelma today, she knows what we're cooking. So we just go up to these 3 lines at the top and we press on My Week. So you can see today, these 3 gorgeous recipes are going to come up: the cauliflower cheese soup, the cauliflower rice, and the buffalo bites. So we simply just tap on that recipe and we start cooking. So off we go and the guided cooking starts. And this is what I love about, I'm just going to flip you back around. This is what I love about Cookie Do, because you don't have to be a chef. You just follow the steps. You read the screen, add the ingredients, press next. Alrighty, so we're going to start with our cauliflower. So you just want to have it roughly broken up into florets around about this size. So it doesn't matter because it's such a super fantastic chopper. They can even be around about this size, so a bit bigger than a golf ball. Straight in. Now the machine's going to weigh as we go. So that's another great feature, which I absolutely love, because I'm a lot tidier when I cook in the kitchen because I've got less things out. I'm sure you girls agree and find that you are a tidier cook as well. So here we go with our collie, weighing as we go. And that will probably do us. Now I just simply press next. I'm going to pop the lid on. Make sure you pop the measuring cup into the lid or you'll have some cauliflower rice decorating the kitchen. In we go. And speed dial, it tells you what to do, around to speed 5. So away we go, 5 seconds. So just in 5 seconds, let me show you how quick and blitzy that is. So look at that. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Now you'll have a look through. There are some little bits that are a little bit larger, but they all still cook up and steam really beautifully. If you want to go finer, you can, but you've got to be careful you don't mush it because there is a water content to the cauliflower. Now, this recipe calls for the water to go into the bowl and then steam the rice on top. But tonight I'm going to be using this in a fried rice. So I'm going to save the rice just like this, my cauliflower, and that will be added to my wok with my stir-fry vegetables all thrown together. But normally you would put the water in there, pop your lid on, and your cauliflower is sitting up in the top of our varoma. So there's plenty of steam holes in this, and you're going to steam your rice on top. Takes no time at all. So I'm just going to pop that aside. And so if you were to continue through here, it's going to tell you to add the water, put your varoma on top, and it only takes 9 minutes to steam that rice, which is so great because you could be preparing some chicken, some veggies, some fish, whatever you're going to serve with it. Great with curries. It's a great alternative to have with your curry as well. Alrighty, so moving on to our next one. This is our buffalo bites. Now, did you know that, let me just bring up my recipe back to my week and start cooking. Did you know that cauliflower actually has 2 grams of fiber for every 100 grams? And that's like 10% of your daily fiber needs. You probably don't realize you would get fiber from the cauliflower. And as I said before, fiber is not just great for regular bowel movements, but it has huge benefits for your gut microbiome, which is what's going on in your gut, all the good stuff. So what I'm going to do now is add 40 grams of brown rice. So this is actually going to make the coating for our buffalo bites. So in with our rice. Now we're going to go in with some onion powder. And as I said, the great thing about the Thermomix is it does weigh as you go, but I find a lot of the times the recipes call for a teaspoon of this, a teaspoon of that. So I keep a nice little container of teaspoons just right beside my Thermomix. So in with our onion powder, next in with some garlic powder. So this is going to be making like a dry rub that you're going to rub the cauliflower into. In with the garlic powder, half a teaspoon of salt, and in with some pepper. All right, so pretty sure that's it. Let me show you. So we've got our rice and our spices, okay? Doesn't look like much, but it's only just going to be a light coating. We're not battering them or anything. So in with our measuring cup again. And this time we're going to spin it right around to speed 10. So this is using the milling function. So this is fantastic because you can really, really finely break down your nuts, your flours. Milling function is incredible. Sounds like it's going to take off on your bench, but I promise you it won't. So this goes for 30 seconds. So you can hear now that that is finishing up. It only needs for 30 seconds. Amazing. Awesome. So did you also know that cauliflower is a great form of an antioxidant? It's one of the vegetables that is so high in nutrients. I didn't realize everything that it had, but it pretty much has all the vitamins and minerals that almost everybody needs in their diet. Your vitamin C, your B6, folate, magnesium, just to name a few that I knew. So yeah, pretty amazing. So here now is our beautiful fine powder. So that is our rice that has been milled down into a rice flour now, brown rice, and added with those spices and herbs. So into a separate bowl. All right. And then all we have to do is our little florets. I'm just going to move you down a fraction so you can see my chopping board. Alrighty, so now we've got all our little florets, which I've made smaller this time. So you want to think what's going to be bite size. And for me, I know I'm going to want to shove the whole thing in at one bite. So the little florets just go in, just like that. And if you have a look at this one, I just wanted to show you, you can actually cut it from here, but then break off the pieces. So if you break them here, you're getting nice little bite size. So that's also a great way to do it rather than cutting, because this is going to be delicious too, this bit of stalk. So in we go. And then I'm just going to give them a little toss like this. And then you'll see they've only just been given a really fine coating. You can see the coating on that. Now they get placed onto an oven tray and into the oven. And we are going to have delicious little buffalo bites in like 10 minutes. I'm going to put some in the air fryer and some in the oven just to see the different result that I get from those. So Amanda, did you want me to go on with my soup yet, or just start the soup and then come back?
We might pop over to Jan's kitchen. Jan's going to make some coleslaw and some mayonnaise at the same time. So you can chuck your things in the oven and the air fryer while Jan's doing that, if you like, because she won't take long. And then we'll pop back to you. Jan, are you ready to get started? great little facts about cauliflower there too, Sally Ann. I had no idea that cauliflower had so many amazing things with it. I've always loved cauliflower, so that's fabulous. All right, Jan, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Amanda. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can.
Good. So, ready to go, am I?
Go for it, Jan.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Amanda, and thanks, Sally Ann. So, yes, I'm going to be making the cooked mayonnaise. So I'll get on with that, and then it's got a cooking process, and then I'll just tell you a little bit about it. So the first thing we do, this recipe is found in Cookie Dough, and it has 4 ingredients. Those 4 ingredients, I'm sure we would mostly all have. You may not have the grapeseed oil, but you would have a vegetable oil. So we'll just go in here. I'll put that lid back on because I want to show you from the beginning, even though I've done it. Place the jug onto the lid of the Thermomix, and then I'm going to next that, and I'm going to weigh out 300 grams of the grapeseed oil. You can see that I've already done that, so I'll just pop this down here, and then I'll go to next. Set the jug aside. It even tells me, set the jug aside. Okay, now I've got 1 teaspoon of sea salt already measured out. Drop that into my bowl, and 30 grams of white vinegar, which I've also measured out by the bowl on the top and pouring in. So I'm going to add that. Go to next. I'm going to put the measuring cup in. Next, and then I'm going to turn this around to speed 1. We're cooking at 100 degrees for 3 minutes. We need the heat from the vinegar, which is going to cook the eggs, which makes it safe for us to be able to have the mayonnaise with no fear of infection from salmonella. Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself whilst this 3 minutes passes. I've been an owner of a Thermomix for 10 years and have upgraded each time from a 31 to a TM5 to a TM6. And I was so lucky to get this TM6 in May, and I decided that I would become a consultant. So I've actually earned my Thermomix. I didn't reach the 6 machines in 60 days, but I did reach 5, and I paid a third of what the Thermomix cost, because I paid $750, and I also got the business pack, but that was refunded back to me. So I was $750 out of pocket to get this brilliant machine. So I'm over the moon. I'm a little bit disappointed that I didn't get the 6. However, to have this machine, and I kept my 5, I'm really stoked. So that's just a little bit about me. We'll go back to the mayo. Now, as I said, there's 4 ingredients in the mayo. Probably everybody would have these ingredients in their pantry. The advantages for us to make our own mayonnaise, there are just so many advantages. Firstly, we know exactly what is in the mayonnaise. We've got eggs, we've got vinegar, we've got salt, and we've got the oil. There are no nasties, no 452s or any of those things. We're not coping with packaging. We can make it when we want it. It will stay in your refrigerator for up to 2 weeks. And a tip when storing, what I do with, if I have purchased tomato paste and I take some out of the jar, I'll turn the jar upside down, and that tomato paste, it'll fall to the bottom. You've still got a space at the top, but you've not got the air on it to deteriorate the mix. And I would tend to do this with the mayo if you're storing it in a jar. Another way you can help preserve it is to have a bit of wax or baking paper and scrunch it up and put it on top of the mix after you've moved it. So it's in a jar, you put the paper in, and that stops the air getting to the mayo and making it deteriorate. So just a couple of ways to preserve it for longer than well, to make sure you've got that integrity of the mix for the entire time that you've got it. Well, there we are. So we'll go to next. Now I've already got the 2 eggs cracked, and it says turn the speed, it goes for 30 seconds, and the speed selector around to 3. Meanwhile, follow the next step, which will go around to 3. The next step is, follow the next step is to add the reserved eggs through the lid here. So those 30 seconds go pretty quickly.
Jan, those tips about keeping your mayo fresh are amazing. I had no idea that if you pop some baking paper in there, it stops it from going bad on the top. Thank you for sharing those ones.
Good idea, isn't it? Just
Yeah,
stops the egg getting
fabulous. Yeah,
I
that's
have-
awesome.
Next. Now, pick the next. Insert now. Now we've done the cook process. Now we're at the emulsifying process. So we've got the oil, we've put the lid back, telling me to do all of these things. Turn the speed selector to 6. Meanwhile, follow the next step, which is to very slowly pour the oil in around the edge, and the oil will just sink quietly into the egg and vinegar mix. So I've now got a minute and 10, and it's just slow and steady. What I have been looking at is whether I can ferment this mayonnaise. And with fermenting, I can use a tablespoon of the whey from yogurt and add it to this mix. And then supposedly I can set the mayo out in a jar for 8 hours, and the whey mixes with the yogurt, and it forms a fermenting action, and that's supposed to make this mayonnaise last for up to 4 weeks in the refrigerator.
Megan has just asked if that tip works with other foods. Megan, are you talking about the baking paper in the top of jars, or are you talking about the drip of the lid?
No, the baking paper.
Yes.
Yeah, it goes on the top of the mix.
Yep.
So you're keeping the air from affecting the mayonnaise. So it's
Work
not
with
on
any
the
other
lid.
product?
Pardon?
Does that baking paper tip work with anything else, like homemade jam or anything
Well,
like?
jams usually you don't need to do it with. Anything that's acidic, you put lemon juice into jam. Jams have got a good shelf life anyhow.
Okay.
But your tomato paste, if you buy a jar of Lego's tomato paste, you'll see that that's going green. You know, you put a clean spoon into it. So turn it upside down, and that good stuff will drop to the bottom, and you've got an airspace that hasn't been contaminated. And it does last. I've had it for months.
Okay, I freeze mine, but okay.
You freeze it. Well, I do my homemade tomato paste.
Yep, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have a look at this. Oh, look at this. So this is lovely. It's really, I'll get a spatula and show you. It's just a lovely consistency, and it's ready for you to add some mustard if you like, or some of those hot Mexican chipotle chilies, or just whatever, if you want to take it to another level. Or you can make the one with all the garlic. Aioli, the aioli, it's such a close base to it. So that's the mayo. So I'm just going to decant this, and then we'll move on with the coleslaw. Lovely colour. I guess that's got something to do with the eggs too.
Are they egg? Do you have chooks, Jan? Are they your own eggs?
We're getting 9 eggs a day at the moment.
Wow, that's fabulous.
And the yolks are so yellow. They're
You can
amazing.
always tell the difference between homemade, not homemade, home-laid eggs. I don't even know how to say that. Eggs from your own chooks than if you buy them from the supermarket. They always look much nicer.
So true. Backyard chooks, I call it.
Yeah, backyard, that's it. Backyard chooks. I like it. That mayo looks fab.
That looks really lovely. I'm almost wanting to put my finger in and have a lick. Okay, so now we're going to the coleslaw. I haven't rinsed this bowl out. We're going to utilise what's in there in part of our mix for the coleslaw. So start cooking. And we've got, now I have cut and weighed these. So I've got 100 grams of carrot. Oh, we'll go. Okay. Next, the green apple. Now, I purposely went to buy a green apple and came home with red. So that'll be nice and attractive. 50 grams of red onion and 200 grams of cabbage. And there I thought I'd get red cabbage and I've got green cabbage. However, it's not going to detract from the taste at all. A pinch of salt and a pinch of salt here and a pinch of ground black pepper, which I both were in the bowl with it. Now, 2 tablespoons of the mayo, and I'm going to use 1 because I've got plenty already in that bowl. I will say it's a generous one though.
It's a Huey tablespoon. Remember Huey, Cooking Adventures with Huey? He was never much for actually measuring. It was a pinch of salt, but it was half a packet. And it was a tablespoon, but it was like a soup spoon's worth.
Well, I'm going to take this off the lid too, because there's quite a bit there. So we've really, well and truly got our 2 tablespoons. Beautiful colour. Okie doke. So next, insert the spatula. That's right. So this, we're going to be pushing this down. There's a video on this machine, of course, too. So this is going to show us what we can do. Here we go. Can you see that? And I'm going to be turning this. Okay, we'll finish that. Then when I start, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to be turning this to, good, move on. Next, and we go around to speed 4. And of course, the spatula is straight down sides. Oops. So we hardly got going then, so we'll give that another whirl.
So as Jan was about to say, the spatula is actually designed with that cuff on it to not go down and touch the blades when you're asked to do that in a cooking method. So if you do need to do that, it's very important that you only use the Thermomix spatula that comes with your machine. Otherwise, you'll end up with spatula pieces all through it. I have accidentally done it before making margaritas, so don't use anything other than the one that comes from your box when you get your machine.
Okay. Now I can repeat this if it's not fine enough for my liking, and I'm going to do it once more for another 4 seconds. Here we go. I'm doing it for 2 more seconds. Okay, let's have a look now. So it says do it until desired consistency reached. I think this is pretty jolly good. I'll show you this. So it's not gone mushy. It's still got nice pieces to eat in it. Beautiful colour. You're seeing the different textures of the carrot, the onion, and the apple. It looks beautiful. So I'll decant this and I'll throw the ball back to you, Mad.
Thanks, Jan. That looks fabulous. We're coming into that weather now where we are going to be wanting salads and things like that. So that's a fabulous one. And like Jan said, making our own mayonnaise, we know exactly what goes in it. We're not using any numbers. We're not using any preservatives. We're not using anything that we don't want to be in there. We're going to pop back to Sally Ann's kitchen so we can see how her bites are going. And I think she's going to get the soup started. Sally Ann, are you good to go?
Yes, I'm all good to go.
Do it.
It's a race between the oven and the air fryer. So I don't know if anyone else owns an air fryer, but I freaking love mine. It's like the air fryer and the Thermomix, they're a bit of a match made in heaven. So I've just heard them ding in the air fryer. They're going better in the air fryer, in my opinion, than the oven. But basically an air fryer is just a tiny oven that cooks a lot quicker. So I'm going to move on to the last part of the Buffalo Bites recipe. And you don't even need to clean this bowl from the spice mix that I made. So just straight away you move on to the beautiful dipping sauce. So while I've still got some of you can see that in the bowl, just going to add that beautiful spice flavour to it. So in with some raw cashews. I didn't have enough cashews, so I added some walnuts. Is it walnuts? Yeah, walnuts, because I thought, why not? They're all great nuts. So then I'm going in now. It's called the Sriracha sauce, and I don't have Sriracha sauce, but I did have some sweet chili in the cupboard. So it's really great when you can pick an alternative rather than if you haven't got the thing. So thanks, Mandy, for helping me out on that one earlier.
No probs. I don't do spicy, so I always find a mild alternative for everything. Sweet chili sauce is my go-to for everything spicy.
Yeah. So this isn't going to be very spicy because I've just used the last of my sweet chili. It did call for 70 grams and I've gone in with about 30, but it's all good. All right. Coconut oil, which I don't have, so I'm going to add a bit of olive oil. All really great stuff. Olive oil's so good for you. Try and get an extra virgin, of course, an Australian. First cold pressed olive oil is always best. Great to support our Aussie olive growers too. Now, Worcestershire sauce or Worcestershire. It's a funny word, isn't it?
I just call it Worcester. In my house, it's Worcester sauce because I've never been able to pronounce it. So it's just Worcester sauce for me.
That's a good idea.
Easier.
All right, and some water. So this is not hot water. My kettle boiled ages ago and it's cooled down. So in with some water. Now I'm not going to go quite the full 240 grams because I don't want my dipping sauce to be too sloppy. I'm going to stop at 200. And in with the measuring cup. Again, still got the spice mix on the top of this. No need to wash it. Your machine will actually tell you each step of the way. If you do need to rinse and clean and dry the bowl, it'll tell you. Otherwise, you keep going. So again, round to 10.
Anyone else tried any of the recipes that we have made today or that we are making today? Come off mute and let us know if there's anything that you want us to cook for you or to show you during these wellness warriors. Please pop in the chat what you'd like us to see, or come off mute and let us know. We love to hear people talking.
All righty. So these are the oven buffalo bites. Now, they're not as orange as they are in the photo. Sometimes I think what we make is even better than the photos. So it may not look bright and orange, but these are crunchy. They're sort of juicy inside, absolutely beautiful. And our sauce, which I was worried it would be a bit runny, but that's okay. Oh my God, it looks like a smoothie. So this is the sauce. And I'm so sorry you can't taste this. So I'm going to give it a dip. Yum. There's just enough crunch. The flavour on those bites is so yummy.
Do they go back into the oven, Sally Ann, or is that how they are now? You just eat them like that, do you?
Yeah, they're done. I'll put them aside and I'll get the other ones out after you come back from my soup and I'll show you, but they're the oven baked ones and I'll put the air fried ones in there as well.
They look fabulous. They are definitely going on my list of things to cook. I absolutely love the look of those.
Definitely.
Okay, we are going. Oh, you're done with that one?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to quickly start the soup.
Go for it.
At the end.
Yep, go for it. Yeah, yep.
Awesome. Right. So back to my weekly recipes. And now we're going to get going, with the cauliflower soup. Now, as I mentioned before, cauliflower is such a great provider of all the nutrients we need. And one thing that I have noticed personally is it has aided in weight loss. So the reason that is because it's also got a very high water content. So if you're adding that water through to your body, it's going to help with that. It also slows your digestion down and it gives you that feeling of being full. So this soup is a real filler. All right, so we start off with some olive oil. Now I'm just going from the one that I did the cauliflower rice in before. I'm all for not having to clean the bowl if I don't have to. In with my onion. Now I've only just had to quarter my onions. So fantastic. All that goes in and it does the chopping for you, no crying eyes necessary. And again, it doesn't matter if you're not spot on with the ingredients, particularly with your onion and things like that. Liquids, yes, I do think you do need to. Now, in with one garlic clove. This is the most giant garlic clove ever. I love garlic. Absolutely love it. I want to show you a quick little chefy trick with your garlic. So here's your garlic that's already got the skin on it. Quickest and easiest way is grab a nice big wide blade knife, pop it down on there, give it a couple of bashes, and I have now squashed the garlic. There's the end that you can see where it grows from. You trim that and the garlic just comes out of the shell. So smash your garlic on the board and you'll be able to get it out of the skin so much easier. All right, so this is just going to blitz. Where's my other lid? Oh, sorry, girls. So this is just going to chop my onion, 4 seconds. Now I challenge anyone to chop their onions as quick as this. All right. 4
and
seconds.
without tears running down their face.
Exactly. So 4 seconds, it's chopped up my garlic, my onions, and my oil. Okay, absolutely amazing. The next step, you're just going to scrape that down. Scrape down the sides, and it's going to saute now. It's going to use our high heat function. So this is going to heat up to 120 degrees very, very quickly. And that is going to saute for 4 minutes just to soften up that onion and garlic, release the aromas. Then I add the cauliflower, the stock paste and the water. But I'm going to leave it here and head over to someone else's kitchen and I'll continue on with my soup.
Thanks, Sally Ann. We are going to head to, I can't wait to see that soup too. I love a cauliflower soup. I know it sounds really plain and boring, but I love a cauliflower soup. We are going to head to Gemma's kitchen. Gemma is making some beautiful, are they breakfast bars, Gem?
They're called energy bars.
An energy bar. Gem's making some beautiful energy bars and I can't wait to see them. So off you go, Gem.
G'day everybody. So yes, thanks Amanda, I'm Gemma and thank you all for jumping on and watching us today. It's such a beautiful day outside, so we really appreciate you sitting at the computer on your phone and having a watch instead of being out there in the sun. So yes, I'm making these 5-seed energy bars and I actually haven't made them. I prepped some last night so I could show you the finished product, but I haven't made them before. And how I found them, I may lose a few of you being a bit IT-ish here, but on my phone I have the Cookie Dough app as a widget, so it comes up much larger than the original icon. And every now and again, it just pops up different recipes, and it sort of highlights random ones, and I don't know, all this tech stuff and how it reads what we're up to. It must know, you know, oh, this will be a great one for you at the moment. I don't know how it chooses, but this one was highlighted about a week ago on my phone, and I thought, well, that would be great for the wellness class. So I haven't tried it yet. My partner tried it for his lunch, and he said it was delicious. So I'm keen to give it a go once I'm finished. But it's a great bar. It's got lots of fibre in it, antioxidants, omega-3s. So it's a really great one to pick up on the go, and keeps in your cupboard for 10 days. And so I'm sure you'll be finished it before the 10 days is up anyway. So Sally Ann showed us how she saves her recipes, and I've done the exact same thing. Put it in my week today. Makes it really easy to pull up and find a recipe when you're ready to go. And I see Sam's just let everyone know that, yes, I've just had a baby. And so I find that feature really great when I'm feeding. I can plan my week, or just, you know, if I'm sitting on the couch and go, oh, we're going to cook some rice, I'll put it up on my phone and save it in the week, so that when I come for my Thermomix, it's just so much easier to find than having to go through the cookie dough on the machine as opposed to my phone. And I'm sitting down doing it anyway, so I'm made it easy enough to find. So let's get started. It is a really easy recipe. It is American, it's in Fahrenheit and ounces, but it will convert the measurements for us. So you can't really see it on my screen, but it tells us 325 degrees Fahrenheit. It's about 160 degrees, those ones. So like I said, it's in ounces, but because it will weigh it as we go, you don't need to convert that yourself. It's doing it for me. So flax seeds, or as it's often found in our supermarket as linseeds, 1 ounce of those. So I think I measured these out properly yesterday. Let's see. Yeah, 1 ounce of flax seeds, that's a really good fibre booster, those ones. Great just raw on some porridge or oats in the morning. And I think Sally Ann was milling before, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to mill this one. So it's 15 seconds. It's going to be loud and it will cut me out, so I won't be able to talk behind it.
If you come across flax seeds in a recipe, like Gemma said, they are linseeds in our supermarket. Sometimes you'll find them as flax seeds. I have spent many of time wandering up and down the aisles looking for the word flaxseed, and it's actually linseed. So when you see that in a recipe, try and remember that, so that you're not caught up in the aisles of Woolies asking some 10-year-old who works there, who has no idea where anything is, to try and find flax seeds for you.
Bit hard to see, but that's just milled up my linseed, so easy. I love the milling feature of the Thermomix, milling almonds into almond meal, so much cheaper than buying it. Now, this recipe asks for pepitas and sunflower seeds, and I actually brought a mix. I probably can't see it, but I brought a mix of them both rather than buying them two separately, and it is 3.5 ounces of both. So I can just skip the first one, go to the sunflower seeds, and notice what's 7 ounces in there. Chia seeds, and I got a mix of the black and white just for aesthetics. You can pick and choose what you like. Sesame seeds, which was 1.5 ounce. Dried cranberries. My coconut. I love this recipe. I love ones that you throw everything in and you're done. And that's exactly what this does. Throw everything into it, mix it up, cook it, and you're finished. So a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. And I know Amanda was talking before about Huey, who just throws everything in. I don't really use my teaspoons very often. I just take a guess. Depends on what I'm cooking. I did ask for vanilla bean paste, and I was sure I had some. We not long moved, and I'm sure I had some at the old place, and somehow don't have it anymore. So I'm just using vanilla essence because that's what we had, and I wasn't going down to the supermarket in lockdown with a new baby for vanilla paste.
Vanilla, the difference between vanilla paste and vanilla essence is vanilla paste is just a little bit more intense of a flavour, and it often puts that vanilla bean look through it. It sort of changes colour a little bit, but basically they're the same.
Yeah, and I actually think I watched one of your videos, Amanda, when you spoke about this, and I was kicking myself because I was like, no, I really think the vanilla paste will be a lot nicer, but it's one of those things that it doesn't really matter.
In cupcakes, you can taste the difference, like between vanilla essence and vanilla paste. In cupcakes, the vanilla paste does make them taste a little bit nicer, but in most other things, it doesn't even really matter.
So I put some maple syrup in there. You could use golden syrup, or I'd like to try it with honey as well, because I actually don't love golden syrup or maple syrup, but I'm a big honey fan, and it is just to combine it. I'm just not sure if my honey would be a bit too thick, but it's something that I'd experiment with. So it's just asked me just to mix up for 20 seconds on speed 4. So transfer it into a oven dish and bake for 30 to 35 minutes. Now I did notice last night when I cooked it, you don't want to overcook it, you don't want to burn it. So keep a close eye on it. I've got a very old oven, so it is a bit funny when cooking. So I do keep a close eye on it and make sure it doesn't burn, because then it, your seeds aren't very delicious. Now that's mixed up really well. I've just scraped down the sides. I'll give you a look there. A really nice blend of all those seeds. I can just see some things going up on the chat. My baby's asleep. I was wondering if you'd wake up midway through this. Now, a little tip I like is using your blade at the bottom to make sure you get all the rest off the bottom. It's great with the doughs. My mix hasn't really stuck, but that helps get everything down really well. Now I'm just going to flatten that down, put it in the oven. I have pre-done mine last night to show you, but I'll come back at the end when I'm going to show you all our finished product, and I'll show you how that went. But I also want to talk about quickly a little trick that I use when I'm using just my scales. I often find I'll put my Thermomix onto weigh things rather than bringing out the old-fashioned scales. The lid of your thermo server, the round 2.6 litre one, which is a bonus offer with purchase this month. It fits perfectly in the arms, and when you pull up your scales, I'll just pull up the scales on the back here. Oops. When you pull up your scales, you can just pop whatever you want on and weigh straight on. Oops. On your little stand there. So I find that really handy, and I don't know if anyone's used it. Anyone's done that before, but I find that really great and often come back to that. I just see Megan's asked about what I could replace it with the flax seeds. I'm actually not too sure. I'm not really great with my different seeds. It's sort of
Megan, you could just leave the flax seeds out if you didn't want them in there for a reason, and then you could just add some of the extra seeds in to make up that seed content. So a little bit more chia and a little bit more of the sunflower, and what was the other one, Jem? I can't remember now.
Pepitas or pumpkin seeds?
Oh yeah, pepitas. Yeah, you could just add a little extra bits of those, or you could just leave it out altogether. It's totally up to you.
From previously making it, I did find I really want to flatten it out well. So while we switch over, I'm going to get a flat cup, and make sure I just push that really down well before I chuck it in the oven. And at the end, you can come back and see how it all looks.
Awesome. Thanks, Jem. That looks amazing. I actually really want to taste that. It's a shame that we're in lockdown. I can't meet you anywhere to grab some. Someone's in Sally Ann's kitchen stealing her food. We're going to head back. She's on mute. We're going to head back to Sally Ann's kitchen. And we are going to have her finish off some of her creations that she's got there.
So yes, that was my daughter. She snuck in. She has been pinching the bites, the buffalo bites. So I can tell you, a 12-year-old critiqued these and she thinks they are pretty good. Good enough to keep running in and pinching.
At least you know they're a winner with the kids if they keep coming in and getting them before you've even finished making them.
I know, right? So I'm just going to show you remember we had the oven baked ones, okay? Then we have the air fried ones, very similar in colour, very crunchy. So these are the air fried ones and these are the oven baked. So these have just given you a crunchier end product compared to the other ones. Now, the first batch, obviously I popped them in a little bit too long. I got plenty of colour out of these ones. But this is the one Chloe's been pinching. So they're actually still really yummy, even though they're a little bit dark. So can you please go and pop that one back in the air fryer for me? Yeah, go and pop it away, then. Thank you. So my soup, Manda, still has a few minutes left. And I wanted to show that at the end. So if there's you've got still something to present. So
yeah, we can jump into my kitchen if you like then.
Yeah, awesome, Amanda. You do that.
All right. Thanks, Sally-Ann. I have to just unmute this one over here and mute this one over here. I've got two devices going right now and it's a little bit confusing. All right. Oh, hang on.